before we start, I just want to remind everyone to, if you can, vote for the film. So there's QR codes outside. So if you liked the film as much as I did, please make sure that you vote for it. So first and foremost, I'm giving you a second to just get over Lourenço. Like every turn, it just wasn't like, there was something so sad about how things were transpiring. How difficult was it to write a story like that? And then,
sad?
Yeah, and then tackle all those themes, and then give hope at the end. Like, what went through your mind when you were writing that film?
Right. Clearly, I was sad, probably myself. I don't know. I wasn't actually. I was probably for the very first time at peace with myself. It was full pandemic, and I think, like many of us, I'd like to think, I was given the opportunity and the time to reflect on things in a different way. This theater is gorgeous, by the way. I mean, I'm now at the real sense of it, okay. And, wow, thank you guys. And I've been a gay man all my life, I guess, and a storyteller for most of it. And I never put gay characters at the centers of my story, for my stories. And I always thought subconsciously that not publicly acknowledging my homosexuality I was putting myself in a safer place. Well, damn, I was wrong. And I felt that I had to do it. And for some weird reason, and then by doing it, I understood that I had to heal my internalized homophobia that I carried for so many years. So there's a lot of sadness in that. I thought I was a free man all my life, a gay man, and instead I was just constantly judging myself. And so that was really, it wasn't really like that I woke up one day and rational and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a story because I feel like that and it's gonna be like that. It's just the creative process is informed by so many things. At the height of the pandemic also, at the very beginning, there was the whole upheaval of Black Lives Matter. So me as an immigrant in this country, I finally had a major culture shock. And I had to also digest all of that. And that became also informed the story that I was writing.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many themes in there that we can all relate to, whether it's loneliness or grief or jealousy or just trying to find belonging. So I think a lot of those came through in that. Now, you historically have done most of your work for like theater, right? This is your first feature film.
Yes.
What was that process like, going from predominantly doing theater work to movies?
It was longer than it should have been. I've always loved movies. It was where I had the first realization that I had to be a storyteller was in a movie theater. I was watching The Piano, Jane Campion's The Piano, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but I have to do exactly something like that. And I was 10 years old. And I went to see it 3 times in a row, and then my mom was like, I come with you, and then I don't know what she thought, because I couldn't explain what was going on there, but she probably could. Anyway, it was kind of...
You did some short films before.
I did some short films, yes. Well, so kind of also the pandemic, I just, theater has always been easier in a way, right? Like the community theater, you start there as a kid, I started very young, and then it's always been more accessible. So every time that I was approaching a new story, I thought, this could be for the movie, but then theater was so easy, I knew how to do it. And so I kept delaying, and then the pandemic also brought me this gift that the theater, we couldn't do theater anymore. So I was like, okay, this is fucking time, I can write a script. And for some weird reason, who was going to produce a movie to me in 2020?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in the middle of
the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a different time then. So when you're thinking about, let's talk about a little casting, because there was just an amazing cast there. Yes. Let's give another.
I didn't meet him on the casting couch. Just let's clarify.
That would be my next question. But when you write these films, do you have actors in mind who are going to play these roles?
Yes, of course.
So writing this for your husband, what was that like?
Well, I started to write before actually I met him, and it was a Latino character already. It was first Mexican, first Italian, because I was like, I know I grew up in a very Catholic family in country, so it was like the place where, you know, I could go there right away, and then it was like, it wasn't working, it had to be closer to America. So I said, okay, it's Mexican, it was too on the nose, then it became Venezuelan, and then I met him. And you know, one plus one.
One thing led to another.
And so from Venezuela to Brazilian, it was already like it didn't. Yeah. The switch was very easy. I mean, in the story of the film, I was already like 70% in, and then we fell in love, and our love ended up influencing also the last act of the writing. And
let's talk a little bit about that. How was it directing your husband in some of those really interesting scenes? And then, Marco.
By interesting, you mean the sex scenes?
Sexy scenes, revealing, some would say. And then we talked a little bit about this in the lobby. How, when you see yourself up on screen, you had said that you become a little squeamish, but like, what is that process like, both directing your husband in these steamy scenes and then seeing yourself on screen in a packed, beautiful theater doing it?
You know, I keep saying this, I think every independent film is a miracle by itself, that it happened, and that we keep on doing. And this film is a combination of synchronicities that were just unbelievable. When we met, I told him, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about being a gay man, closeted inside your family, inside your society, and I want to talk about it through my art. And he was already 70% on the script, and for 2 years we worked on this together. To get to know this character, to bring, you know, layers and layers and layers of it. And by the time we got on set, we were so aligned and we knew the character so well that it just made the process easy. And there's a lot of trust here going on. It's his first feature. I had to deliver a good performance. The same for him. It's my first feature film in the US. So, you know, it's the combination of both. So the process was beautiful for me. A lot of trust on each other. But to watch, I'm never gonna get over it. No, it's I'm in the chair like this, and I'm like.
But all our friends were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna work together. Let's talk in November after you return. You're gonna tell us." So we were like, we never thought it would have been complicated, but everybody was like, and it was amazing. You know, true love is something else, right? Bill Irwin's character said, and true love comes with respect. No, I just thought about it. I was like, true love comes with respect, with trust, with confidence, and also when you do mistakes, you commit mistakes, and we were full of love, you know, and so still we are, and I don't know, it wasn't. I know you want some spicy stories, but we were just working, you know, and everybody was so committed to it.
How long did it take to film this movie, and then were you able to turn it off when you were off set? Like, were you just constantly in this bubble where I can't stop thinking about it, or were you able to?
We were sleeping separated during this period of time.
During production, yeah, we weren't sleeping together. We were in different housing. That was a smart thing that we thought. I was like, okay. And during the weekends, we were spending time together.
But the film was shot in 17 days. And we very, very little.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever directed a movie. You never stop thinking about it when you write it, when you shoot it, so especially when you're in production. So, but that's why I need him to rest. I needed him to not to be in my that thing. And, you know, you have to deal with a lot of things. And I just want him to focus on his beautiful heartfelt work, and not be worried seeing me worrying about other stuff.
No, that makes sense. Before we open it up for a couple questions, I know we're going to be getting short on time. We talked a little bit at the beginning about what's next. I know you just got distribution. So...
Hey! Theatrically released. It's going to be released theatrically in the fall. It's wow. It's just wow.
It's wow. It's we're so happy. We're so happy.
No, it's amazing. And here at Frameline, we always talk about the three pillars being the creation of the film, the showing of the film here, and then how the film lives on.
Yeah.
So where does it go next? All these different things. So it's so heartwarming to hear that you've got a next phase here, at least for this film. And then what's next for each of you personally? Are you working on other projects, or are you really focused on this right now? And
Our marriage. Literally, we're gonna get married at the end of August.
oh, congratulations!
If you don't say this in Frameline, the oldest gay film festival in the world, come on.
Nice. Where's the wedding?
Oh, we're gonna, right?
Where is it?
In Tuscany at the end of August. Yes, that's where I'm from.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, there are other 2 films in the can to be released. For me, he's working on his next script, so a lot of plans. But you know, it's like I said, every independent film is a miracle, and we just keep on doing it because we want to tell the stories and touch people's heart.
No, we appreciate you coming here and telling that story. It's amazing. So we've got a couple minutes left for questions. Up, first hand up. Would you mind standing up and projecting, please? Yeah, Marisa Tomei, how'd you cast her?
We've known each other for a long time. We worked together in theater in New York. I used to live in New York, and as I said before, I was mainly working in theater, and we worked together on a Broadway revival of Tennessee Williams' Rose Tattoo. That's how we met, and so we met working, and since then we established really, again, a friendship based on trust and confidence, and we both like the same things, we believe in the same things, so when I was writing, and then she also participated in one of my short films, so she saw me growing, not just as an artist, I'd say, but also as an immigrant in this country. When we met, I just moved to New York, and then so when I had this role, I was like, for me it made complete sense that it was for her, but of course it was so tiny that I was like, she's never gonna do it. And she said yes. And I was like, oh, she said yes.
If you can ask her what her skincare regimen is, that would be amazing. She's ageless. Like, it's like, I was like, wait, is that
No work at all.
daughter? It was insane.
So,
All right, another question? Yeah, right here.
Yeah, so there were a lot of traumas that were explored in this film, and I was kind of wondering, I mean, I imagine some of them were maybe related to your own personal experiences, but where did some of the inspirations for all of those come from?
So the question was, what were some of the inspirations for the traumas we saw in the film? Were they based in your own experiences? We talked a little bit about your upbringing, but go on.
yeah, I mean, yeah, sadly so, I guess. Or lucky also, you know, they made me, but I grew up in a very religious family and country. I am an immigrant in a country that I still struggle to understand. I'm in a limbo in that sense. I felt like I've been trying to belong all my life to a country, to a community, to someone else, to myself. And so I think by doing so, I probably, I had to explore several of those traumas, as you call it. But I think all of us, we went through also some kind of loss, heartbreak, some kind of abuse, microaggression of a certain kind, and all this variation of love, right? And everything that love brings. Is for me, the biggest trauma here watching this movie every time, I'm like, people here keep missing each other. You know, all these people are like struggling with some kind of a version of love that they picture for themselves, right? Or that they lost a long time ago, or they try to bring back, or that they materialized in a lot of sets. So all this, everybody's some kind of in a quest for love. And it's so beautiful. That's what we're here for as human beings. But if we, sometimes I feel that the humanity, if we don't allow that to be in this quest for love, if we don't recognize it, then that's we fuck it up.
Something so beautiful about the script for me when I read and when we were talking about it, there are all these traumas, but at the same time, we're not really focusing on any of this. He's just trying to get along. He's just trying to live his life and find his way through it. And I think it's basically what we do during our lives. Of course, we can, get help and find therapy and work on our traumas, but in the end, we're just struggling with all these combinations of things to try to just keep on going and finding real connections. So this is, for me, the most magical thing about, this script and this film. There's this slice of life of this guy struggling to try to just go through, no matter exactly what are the traumas or where they come from. It's just a combination of that.
All right, I'm told we are at time, but I just want to give one more round of applause for High Tide. Thank you for sharing your film. We can't wait to see what happens next on behalf of everyone. Thank you so very much. So, and I think you might be around and something a lot.
Of course I'll be around. It's Pride weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.